Hello and welcome back to the Rolls Rate podcast. This is going to be my Polaris 8 recap episode. I'm sitting down once again with my good friend and in this case my cornerman, Mr. Luke Dalmedo. We are going to be chatting about Polaris and me competing on there just a few days ago, fighting the gigantic Olympic judo gold medalist Mr. Satoshi Ishii, and all about that, and probably some completely irrelevant things as well. Well, we do, because I'm recording this after I record that, so I know that. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the episode. Check it out. Luke Dalmedo, you're back.
I am. By popular demand?
You know what? Yeah.
Yeah?
People actually do like it. Yeah, they do.
Really?
Yeah. Last time they did actually.
I got like 10 Instagram followers from your last podcast.
So you basically doubled your
Mate, I'll have you know, I'm well into triple figures.
Well, this is what I'm saying, like we're doing good and I think it can only go up from here. So before you even stop, pause this podcast, go onto Instagram and follow Pigeon Pecker MMA. At Pigeon Pecker MMA. Yeah, man, this is your third appearance on here, which I think makes you tied for the most number of appearances with Marshall.
Yeah, who's the other? Marshall?
Yeah.
Come on. You know I'm a better podcaster than Marshall.
Well, you can take that up with him, not with me. Anyway, today we are going to be recapping. Just fought Polaris on the weekend. And I guess we could also talk about, if we really absolutely have to, talk about Grapplefest a few weeks beforehand. But I prefer to talk more about Polaris than about Grapplefest. But yeah, I was saying to you before we start the podcast that like this is the third one we had. Japan.
We had
Quintet.
Japan.
Then we have Vegas. Quintet.
Yeah.
Now we have Cardiff and Polaris.
I didn't think it was that bad.
Cardiff is nice, man. I like Cardiff.
Well, Cardiff as a place is nice. It's no, I mean, I've never been to Japan, but it's definitely no
Not
Vegas.
No.
Although it has a nice shopping centre.
But they do call it the Vegas of Wales.
Is that true?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
My more problem with where it was how goddamn freezing it was.
Do you know what? That is probably my favourite temperature I've ever competed at.
You don't like the heat, do you?
No, I do very badly in the heat. So yeah, it wasn't. I wouldn't have liked to have been a spectator, but as an athlete, I felt that I was kept nice and cool.
Well, David Enuma was like an Eskimo. Dan Hardy was wearing a scarf. I had to go back to the car, get another layer of bottoms and a coat.
Yeah, so it was in an ice skating rink.
Well, it was called the Ice Arena. Now, I just thought that was just a cool, quirky name to call an arena.
I knew what it was.
I didn't.
Yeah, I knew. It was the same as in Nottingham ADCC. That was on an ice rink as well.
Really?
Uh huh.
When you fought?
Yep.
Did not.
Yep. They put a layer over the floor, which is why it was so slippery on the edges.
Temperature weren't the same.
No, I think they dealt with that slightly better, but.
Because also it was slippery. I mean, do we want to talk about how slippery it was? I'll have you know, just so you feel a bit better. I did take a drop as well.
Did you?
And all the Polaris boys caught me.
Really?
I like, when you look up and you slip and you're like, shit.
When did you slip?
Did anyone have a look? Well, just like in between some of the earlier fights, I see the Mill Hill boys, and I was like, yes, boys. And I go to walk up the step, and then see ya. And then I look up.
Right, it could be a lot worse. You could be stepping onto the stage for the Polaris main card introduction.
Man, you held it together. That could have gone a lot worse. You
I
could
know.
have gone arse over tip.
My incredible balance saved the day there. Yeah, for those who didn't see, as I got onto the stage, my foot hit the damp canvas and it kept moving. I didn't hit the ground, but I gave quite a nice little stumble there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kept it together. But someone videoed it and put it on Instagram.
Was the stage cold?
Like the floor? No.
Yeah, like where you're grappling.
No, I didn't feel like you don't notice it. You're warm, and
I find when I compete, when like you strip down to like your rash guard,
Yeah.
I think the nerves. I feel cold anyways.
no.
I don't know if that. I've heard a lot of people say about that as well.
No, I really like that temperature. I like a nice warm place to warm up, obviously. But actually to fight, like I have a big problem with overheating. So that was actually perfect for me. Felt very comfortable.
Fair dues. It was. I think that might have been why the main event with the Aussie and the Californian was kind of, they just weren't used to that cold.
Do you reckon?
That's my theory.
Yeah, you said beforehand that they ain't going to be ready for this shit.
They ain't. I called it.
Yeah, you
they
did.
fucking weren't.
You did.
Especially, I mean, I was quite disappointed. I mean, I know we're starting from the top here, but those are two of my favourite fighters.
You were disappointed with Keenan. We thought Keenan was going to take it.
Just love Keenan. I mean, I've seen his no-gi grappling highlight that Dr. Dre beat. Like, sick highlight. And I was like, I'm going to actually see it in the flesh against Craig Jones, whose nuts I've been hugging a lot lately.
You have.
And it's just one of those ones. You're like, man, like kind of how I felt when Nick Diaz fought Anderson Silva. I was like,
a bit underwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think, like, Craig told me, like, that was his game plan. I asked him what he was going to do.
To do what?
To bully him on the feet and try and stay on top, out wrestling basically. Because he said that in the gi, Keenan's got one of the best open guards in the world, and no gi, he's got some of the best guard passing in the world. So, you know, that was he didn't want to be on his back. He thought that if he was on his back, Keenan would be able to pass him and it would be a bad time.
But his, is it EZ guard?
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that's what he likes to pull. When you watch him on like EBI and stuff like that, he just sits.
Yeah. Who, Craig?
Yeah, I mean, I know you should be careful of your opponent's strengths, but I thought he would have played to his.
Well, I actually didn't watch the ADCC fight, but I imagine he passed his guard multiple times.
Yeah, but also that was his first big time. He's come a long way since then.
It was only a year ago, though.
Yeah.
You know, even though Craig Jones went from an absolute nobody to literally the biggest name one of the absolute biggest names in grappling, but we forget it was only a year ago. So I get Craig not wanting to play a similar game that happened, so wanting to stand the top position. It worked for him. It worked for him. So 1 second, check the camera. So yeah. So that was that. Craig got the W, but slightly underwhelming.
How are you feeling? I mean, you seemed after your fight with, is it Ishii?
Ishii,
sorry,
yeah.
Ishii. You seem like a sense of almost like relief.
Oh yeah, it's always a relief.
I mean, it is always a relief, but I feel like more. I don't know. Is that because of you drew against AJ? Well,
yeah.
I think you would have got the decision.
I would have got the decision against AJ, yeah.
And then Jake Shields,
I lost the decision to Shields in a pretty boring match. I hope you're never going to grapple in those nails, by the way. I literally just saw your hand there. That is disgraceful. Disgraceful.
Luckily for you, my attendance at training.
Luckily, your attendance at training has been abysmal. You've been taking time off of training so you can truly grow your nails.
I just have good. I have good nails.
I know that you've got a weird thing for nails, and I don't understand it. But you better make sure that they're gone by the time you hit the
I'll be honest.
Next year,
there was a time when I went to train with Zay Marcello and David Lee.
Yeah.
And I was rolling with another black belt. I wasn't sure of his name, but I think he had like 4 stripes in his black belt.
That's a lot of stripes.
And I rolled with him with these bad boys.
Oh my God.
And at the end of the class, he made an announcement about nails.
Yeah.
And yeah, I felt quite ashamed.
Dude, that's like, come on, you're a somewhat manly guy.
I just like having nice nails.
It's just strange. You can have nice nails that aren't that long.
What, you're saying I can't have nice nails because I'm a man? Is that what you're saying?
Don't try that. Don't try it, mate. Just sort them out, okay. What was the question? I was relieved. Yeah, I was relieved. So I really wanted to win this. And I think, I wanted to get, it's the third time that I was on Polaris, and I wanted to get a win. I didn't want to lose again.
Yeah,
well, as simple as that.
Was the Danis fight kind of?
Yeah, I definitely think that kind of got to me a little bit. It's such a high when you win, as you know, you fought professionally.
Yeah,
it's such a high when you win, and it is so shit when you lose. You know, so I think that had I gone in off of the back of kind of like the draw that I had in Quintet, which I wasn't super happy about, but it was kind of almost neutral. The win in Quintet beforehand. I was coming into this month or the last couple of months, you know, in a relatively good place.
How was your preparation for? I haven't been training lately, but how has your preparation been for
Ishii?
For Ishii,
yeah, pretty standard. I didn't really do anything else. Yeah,
yeah,
yep.
Just kind of, should we say, relaxed? A relaxed training camp.
Relaxed, yeah, relaxed training camp for that.
You like to get injured on a training camp? Did that happen?
No.
Oh, so not a good camp then.
Well, I'm trying to get less injured in the lead up to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was like an important part of the mental process for you.
I'm trying to get less injured.
I'm
trying to get less injured, just so I can continue to train up to it. Because I got injured before the Danis fight.
Right, was that your shoulder? Oh no, your back.
Yeah. I had a really bad back flare. I almost pulled out like 4 days beforehand. So the week beforehand I couldn't walk. I had some mad flare up. I trained. I took a whole rest day on Thursday. Trained Wednesday. Took a whole rest day Thursday. My back was fine. I woke up on Friday. My back was bad. Started lifting. I just stopped. And that very rarely happened. I stopped lifting halfway. Just like I can't do anything. My back really hurts. Rolled on Saturday. Did 3 rounds. I was in the worst pain I've probably been in 2 years.
Really?
Very, very bad.
Same spot?
Same spot, yeah. Just a painful radiating. Like there was just, it because it came very quickly and it went very quickly. It was quite obviously like an inflammation on the nerve or something. But I rested Sunday, rested Monday, came in Tuesday before I fought. Was like, I'm going to roll tonight. I have to roll hard. I'm fighting in 4 days' time, 5 day time. If I can't roll today, but then I have to pull out. But I came in, it was fine. So I fought. And when I had the match with Mateus, my back was a non-issue, so it was all good. To be honest with you, my back has been less of an issue this year than it has the previous year. I believe that my improvements in my back strength are still increasing. Even though I had a little blip there, I think the more lifting that I've been doing on my back, so even for the last couple of years where my back hasn't been an issue, when I get stressed and it seems to tighten up. So it's an interesting thing. So like I remember it happened a lot before my match with Jake Shields last year, which is like my back just started to get very, very tight. So often if there's very often in these events there's a masseuse around to like relax the back a little bit. I kind of figured out if I do deep breathing, I can relax my back. It's very, very interesting.
Really?
Yes, very interesting. Like I can have instantaneous physical results from one round of just a bit of deep breathing, holding the breath in for as long as you can, and then taking a deep exhalation. Like the Wim Hof style. Very similar to I haven't studied the Wim Hof stuff yet, even though I want to at some point. But yeah, like that sort of style of breath work. Just doing a few rounds of that, and my back just relaxes. The pain goes instantly. It's very, very interesting.
Nice.
But the last couple of times I've done it, my back hasn't been too bad. Yeah, well, I haven't felt it at all, to be honest with you.
He's not the man you kind of want to face on a bad back either.
Ishii, just move a little bit closer, or pull the mic into you. Yeah, he's not the guy that you want to face on a bad back. And like, to be honest with you, my back was absolutely fine afterwards as well. It was fine after Mateus, and he fucking came me right pasting, and it was fine after Ishii, and yeah, he's a big fucking guy. And
he's so big.
Yeah,
like
he's massive.
He looks big on TV, but when he walks past you, he's so big.
Yeah.
Like, as I said before, like it was like when you get the game like WWE SmackDown or something like that, and you make the biggest character you can make, so you can then fight all the other wrestlers with this giant character, like for fun. He reminded me of that.
Yeah, he looks like the last henchman before you get to the boss.
Yeah,
because like the boss is never the big guy. He's like the boss is the like strangely powerful for the smaller guy.
Yeah,
but you have the last henchman beforehand is the giant. He was the last henchman.
He was so big, man. I'll tell you what, it reminded me of because Ed was in his changing room.
Yeah.
So me and Shouty Polaris guy went to Ed's changing room.
Yeah.
Before and after his fight, and after his fight, we see him warming up.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminded me of the film Kickboxer.
Yeah.
You know when Jean-Claude Van Damme walks through the corridor to find ice, and he sees Tong Po kicking the wall.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. I walked in there and I see him warming up, throwing around his heavyweight training partner like he's fucking nothing.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I felt like going back to your changing room going, Dan, you can't fight me. They do it differently here at Polaris.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I met him for the first time in Quintet 1. He was on the judo team. And I'd not heard, I don't think I'd really heard of him before. And I just saw this gigantic man. This huge guy, and they were just like, "Yeah, this is Satoshi Ishii. He's an Olympic gold medalist.
His resume's pretty tasty.
His resume's ridiculous. Fought Fedor, like professional MMA, champion of multiple organizations, and I believe he's the youngest ever heavyweight Olympic judo champion.
Really?
Yeah, I believe so. So Yeah, and I remember Matt saying that they really wanted to get him on Polaris. This is way back in beginning of the year, Quintet 1 in Japan. They were saying that they really wanted to get him on Polaris, but they like couldn't find anyone to fight him, basically. And then they asked me. I asked them if they wanted me for Polaris 8, and when we were in Vegas, they kind of said, yeah, that would be the plan. And then once we got back and they started announcing fights for it, they said that there was no space for me on it. So I was like, that's cool. Ed's got a match. I want to go watch it anyway. I like to go to Polaris, to be honest with you. So I was going to go watch Cage Warriors and go and watch Polaris. And then it was afterwards, after they'd got most of the cards sorted out, they were like, do you want Ishii? It's like, yeah, fuck it. Fuck it.
Fair play. I mean, was it different? Is it weird for you taking the David role in the David versus Goliath?
Yes, it's nice.
Yeah?
It's nice, yeah, for sure. I prefer it.
Well, did you feel like you kind of had something to prove? Like, you know, I'm not just a strong guy if I'm fighting a guy
so I thought,
stronger than me.
like, I don't give a fuck about weight divisions. It's what people don't understand. Like, there ain't no weight divisions in the jungle. I don't give a fuck. You're just a person fighting another person. There's huge advantages to someone being bigger, and there's massive advantages for people being smaller. They're faster. They've got better cardio. There's less output for the amount of movement that they have to do. So, you know, if obviously I prefer being bigger, so I think that there's an advantage there, but I don't give a fuck. Like, I'll fight a 65 kilo person and I'll fight a 165 kilo person. It just doesn't matter to me. So when I see people refusing to, you know, so I fought AJ, who was 10 kilos lighter than me when we fought, and I'll fight Ishii, who's 16, 17 kilos heavier than me, 18 kilos heavier than me when we fought. I just don't care. So when I see people refusing to contest a match with another person because they are one weight division above them, like, how little confidence do you have in your jiu-jitsu that you don't think it would work a single weight class up? 5 kilos above.
It's a massively put in the story and in the excuse as well.
Yeah. You know? So
I thought you would fact you were fighting a man of his size, I thought you would have warmed up more. Like, I know you're not a big warm-up guy, but I remember this, and I remember when I was with you, I think it might have been sub 15, but you don't really, your warm-up isn't intense.
Not really. So I did what I found worked quite well. I think as long as you're loose and you're like firing quite, you know, you feel good. I'll basically warm up until I feel good. I want to get, I think it's really important to get your breathing up. So I just do something that will make me breathe heavy.
Right. Okay.
So I just do 20 burpees and then that will be breathing heavy. Then I think, and then a few more things where I'm going to be a little bit out of breath, and then you've got to get out of breath in order for your body to be like, okay, we're doing something that requires us to be breathing. And then I feel like, because whenever you start rolling, the first round is always the hardest.
Yeah.
Once you're out of breath, and once you get it back down, and then you can coast, it's a lot easier. So I think that's the big mistake that a lot of people make, is they'll warm up their body until they feel warm, but they don't get out of breath. I think that's the most important thing that you need to do more than anything else, is
just
to
that first wind.
Get out of breath, get your first wind. 100%, I believe that. Like, that never made sense to me. The second wind, no, it's 100% legit. You need to have that second wind.
It is strange when you're still on that first wind in the fight, and
but that's it.
Like
you should never be on.
So hard.
You should never be on the first wind. So, like, a lot of people will go, "Oh, he's got his second wind in round 3." No, you should have been on your second wind when you were walking out for round 1. So that's like one piece of advice to anyone competing, is like, do something. Burpees are great for it. Like 20, 25, 30 burpees, whatever you need to do to get yourself out of breath, and then you can get your second win and you're a lot better ready to go.
You decided to throw me in the air as well, which was nice.
Yeah, so I kind of like to do that just to get some explosiveness.
I mean, I'm all for you getting as warmed up as you can, but just a little warning wouldn't go amiss.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you know, I have an injured knee, and then you threw me in the air.
I did forget
it's
about
kind of like when you jump too high on a trampoline and you're like, oh shit,
I've got to come down now.
I have to come down. And I landed, and then you decided to gable grip my body and squeeze.
Do you know what?
And then we heard that crunch noise.
I didn't hear that because I have my noise cancelling headphones on, but I began squeezing you, and then I stopped because I'm like, your back's fucked. I'm going to stop doing that. And then I know that Louis' back's fucked as well, so I ran out of people to squeeze.
Yeah.
So yeah. I was warming up with Marshall for the Danis fight.
He's the guy you want, you know?
Yeah.
You also do that annoying thing when you...
squeeze your wrist.
You squeeze my wrist, and I just feel like my radius and ulnar bone are going to touch.
Didn't you say that?
Me out. I'm pretty sure they
that was
touched
6 years ago.
Sub 15. I'm sure they touched.
You said that your forearms have never been the same since.
Nah, it freaks me out now. I don't know if it's like a mental thing that I'm imagining they're touching, but when you're squeezing it, it feels like they're going to touch, and it freaks me the fuck out.
That's another thing. Like the grip is there's so much of a neurological component to gripping that when you squeeze, that's really switching on your body. It's a good indicator that your central nervous system's firing properly.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You know how people I don't do this
because it's on the end of your nervous system.
Just because there's such there's so many nerves going into your hands, and they're just such a have you ever seen the picture of a human as represented by the nerve system?
No.
Have you seen that?
Oh,
where they've got like a massive mouth, a massive tongue, and big ears.
Oh no,
and,
I haven't
big
seen
feet, small legs. Have you not seen that? It's like called like a homunculus or something like that. It's got like a stupid name, but it's like a physical representation of a human, but where the amount of nerve endings or something like that are like the size of the body part is relative to the number of nerve endings. Yes, you've got like a massive mouth. I think like really big ears, quite a bbig head. Like massive hands, massive feet, tiny legs, stuff like that.
Got ya.
So I think there's a lot of nerve endings and stuff in the hands, and that the grip is just such a, it's really connected to your neurological system. So I don't really do this, but like ways that you can test whether you're overtraining or not, which is one is to measure your heart rate every morning. Your resting heart rate,
if it's elevated,
heart rate variability. So you build up a baseline heart rate. It's not like actually your heart rate. It's like the difference between it.
Oh, okay.
It's called heart rate variability. And you test that every morning. And once you get a baseline, it will tell you whether more of your sympathetic or parasympathetic nervous system's firing. So like you're doing good today, hit it hard. Or you know what, actually you're a little bit fucked today. You should probably take it easy. So I should actually start doing. I did that for a very small amount of time, but I should probably start doing that again because I think it does have some benefit. But another way that you can do that is you have a hand grip caliper, a hand grip tester. Yeah, grip strength tester measurer, and you squeeze it every morning. And you build up a baseline, and if it ever drops significantly, it means that you're overtraining, you're coming down with something, or you should back off because there's such a connection.
Okay.
Yeah, so I always like to make sure that I'm squeezing something with my hands. That, and also I want to get some blood into the forearm so I don't have like this massive adrenaline dump and the forearms don't get too pumped up too fast, which they fucking did during the fight because that cunt.
Yeah, I mean, so your strategy going into it was to take his back?
The strategy was guillotine and back take,
but we knew trying to get your arm around that head for a guillotine, and the neck, I mean, that's a tall order. That was a tall order. I mean, even you trying to get your arm around his neck for the RNC, I mean, I know he was fighting it, but it just didn't look, your arm was getting almost here.
Yeah, it's true. He's got massive traps and massive shoulders. The thing is, he's got such a big head and a big jaw that I knew that I could get my forearm underneath it. He was just he knew exactly what to defend against. Like he'd done his homework. He knew what I was going after. He'd watched me compete on quintet both times and to attack guillotines quite aggressively. Yeah. So he knew what he was doing. So I've always used the guillotine setup to take the back. It's such a valuable part of the guillotine game. So yeah, that was the plan, was to do that. To be honest, so yeah, very early on, I pull guard. He comes down. I grab the head immediately because he leads quite forward with the head. Grab the head immediately. Use it to stand. I was kind of feeling, am I going to re-pull? Do I have a clean forearm connection with the neck? The answer was I didn't. But I feel there was no way he was going to get out of that position. So what was I going to do with it? Always the option is, you're not going to take him down off of it. Someone that size and with that base. So take the back. And I knew as a judo guy that was going to be his weakness. The back takes were going to be his weakness for sure. So I managed to take the back real early, and he couldn't really do anything from there. His escapes weren't really working. I felt very comfortable on the back. The only problem was there was absolutely no fucking way I could choke him. And not to do with the fact that he had no neck, which I felt that probably would still be an issue, but I wasn't really going to go for that. If I could get both of my hands out, I was just going to put my forearm across his face and squeeze as hard as I could, and I was pretty sure that he would have tapped from there. But I could not, for the life of me, pull my left hand out.
I rewatched the fight. He was doing it almost like a...
I don't know what the fuck. All I know is that I was trying to fight the grips, and when he grabbed my wrist, I'll usually use the other hand to strip the grip. And there was absolutely nothing that I could do.
Really?
There was nothing I could do. And I knew that there would never be anything that I could do. You know, it was pointless being there. So I held the position, hoping, you know, I was keep on knocking on this door over and over again, hoping that I could get this. Because I really wanted to finish him. I didn't just want to win. I really wanted to finish him. I had the back early. This was exactly the position that I wanted. But his hands are so big and so fucking strong. Like, could you build a stronger hand than a 110 kilo Olympic judo champion? And the answer, as far as I'm aware, is no. Yeah. He grabbed my hand and he knew that he didn't want to let go of that, and there was nothing that I could have done to get out of there. So my forearms started to get real burnt out, like hard. I could feel them. They were getting very, very pumped up. At that point, I think I can stay on his back for another 2 or 3 minutes. And at that point, if I fall off his back, I will be completely incapacitated with my arms. I'm not going to be able to do anything with my arms.
Right.
So I thought, you know what? I better get off his back and try and do something else. I didn't really have a game plan at that point. I kind of fell off for the armbar as he tried to move me off. Before I was holding the position, but I just allowed him to roll me off and switch to the armbar. Like, as I went to attack the arm, I just thought that was one of the most ambitious things I've ever tried to do in my life, to try and armbar that guy. So we end up back in guard, and then that's pretty much the story for the rest of the match. Just regaining guard and him trying the pass.
Yeah, you seem to get success from that guillotine grip.
Yeah, so I think I took the guillotine grip, I believe, 2 more times.
Yeah, you did.
The first time we were quite close to the edge of the mat, and I physically tried to drag him back into the center, and he kind of just fought against me and moved a little bit, and we restarted. But the second time we were a lot further away from the edge of the mat, and I took it, and there was no, like, it was very, very obvious. He just started making steps towards the edge of the mat, and there was nothing that I could do to stop him. It was like me running behind a train, pulling out of a station and holding onto it and digging my heels into the ground and expecting the train to be stopped.
See,
there was nothing I could have done.
See, I think just like in wrestling, that should be, if you're standing and you are forced off the mat, I think that should be like I know it's a 10-point must scoring system, but that should be taken into account.
Yeah.
If you are pushed off the mat, obviously if you're on the ground, it's different, but if you're standing and you're pushed off the mat, that should, I think...
I don't like, if I had pushed him off the mat, that's one thing, but he walked off the mat in order to... Look, would I have submitted him with the guillotine? Almost certainly not. Would I have got to another position? I believe I could have, but we can't be sure. All I can tell you is that there was no way he was going to get out of the guillotine. Out of that, it wasn't even a guillotine. It was like a front head control position. He knew that he was not going to get out of that, and I believe that the only outcome of that situation would have been him exposing his back and me being able to take it. I believe that I could have dragged him if his hands had come on the ground or his elbows had come on the ground from that position. I would have been able to use it to come around and take the back. And that's a little bit frustrating to me, because I'll never know. But I believe that had I taken his back, he was getting very tired. I was getting tired as well, but I feel like he was getting more tired. Yeah. Had I taken his back in the last 5 minutes, I don't know what would have happened. You know? So that's the frustrating thing for me. Could I have submitted him, or would it have been exactly the same as the first 5 minutes?
Yeah.
And I have no idea, and I'm never going to know, and that's one of those annoying things. Yeah.
It was a good fight, though.
Yeah, I was happy to get the victory. You know, I was happy to get that. I fucking shat myself for a second when they called a split decision.
Man,
you see my face.
So did I. After the fight, I was going to 100% yours. I felt like I've reassured you now.
The first thing that I looked at was you, and you said 100% yours.
As soon as they said split decision, I went, "Don't you fucking dare!"
I looked around like, what the fuck? Because to be honest with you, I'm still a little bit sour from the Jake Shields fight. Like, I totally get that positionally he dominated me, but he didn't go for any sub. I feel like any sub attempt should be rewarded higher than positional dominance. So I just felt there was, I felt like I can see the Jake. Had Ishii beat me, I would have been a lot more pissed off than when Jake beat me. But even with the Jake thing, I was like, look, I went for subs.
Why are they doing it every 5 minutes?
It just stops someone from dominating early and coasting for the rest of the fight.
Right, I got ya.
Unless you dominated for the first 10 minutes and then you can coast for the rest of the fight. It just brings another. It just brings another aspect into it.
Is it ACB or what's that tournament that do rounds?
ACB do rounds, but they do rounds with points.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. Do you know what? Like, I like rounds for grappling.
Yeah, I do.
I really like rounds for grappling. I think a 15-minute match should have 3 5-minute rounds.
Well, there was a fight I was watching the other day. Is it Wazinski?
Oh, Wazinski.
When he fought Urbeth Santos.
Yeah.
Urbeth Santos just went full on him, like on that first round, just destroyed
Was this
him.
on ACB?
Yeah, making like a white belt.
Yeah,
and then
Urbeth is a savage,
Second round.
But he breaks mentally.
He did.
He does.
He started complaining about an injury in his hand. And I was
Urbeth is an interesting guy because when he's on form, he is one of the best in the world. But he just seems to break mentally, and then he'll tap to submissions that aren't on, or he'll just, it's a very interesting mindset with him.
But that was a clear one of like how in an actual round, you won the first round, but I'm coming second round.
Yeah,
it was it's interesting.
Because the argument against rounds like that, splitting the rounds in grappling, is that grappling's not like MMA. You're gonna be stopping someone in the middle of a transition or something like that. But the reality is that's not the case most of the time.
I mean, another thing I was going to bring up was especially with the Craig Jones and Keenan fight, was the passivity. Now, you come from Quintet where it was like, harsh warnings constantly.
Yeah.
I felt like I could have done with one of those guys in that fight.
Yeah.
But then what do you do? How many times do you warn them before?
Well, do you know what the thing is? And this goes back to some of the differences between super fights and things like Quintet, which is you can't punish someone because there's no repercussions outside of the match. So, like, the only way is you take a minus point from someone, and that, or you say that you're going to lose this round or something like that. You've got to make a very clear connection. So, for example, you give someone a Shinto I think it's called a Shinto in Quintet. That may affect the entire tournament because if everything's equal, you're going to lose on the Shinto.
Yeah.
So there's repercussions outside of that single match. It's kind of like what happened when Jake slapped AJ. You can't, had that happened in IBJJF, you just disqualify him.
Yeah, it's like,
right? But you can't do that because if you disqualify him, the only person who loses there is the fans, the organization. You can kind of do whatever the fuck you want, and you're not going to get disqualified because there's no, you're the main event and you kind of hold all the value there.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I mean, I'm a teacher, so it's like, if you can't send a kid out for whatever reason, just so there's no cover lesson you can send them to, but they're being so naughty, and you're like, stop doing that.
They're like, I don't give a fuck. Yeah. You can't do anything to me. What are you going to do? So I think I don't think they're doing 10-point must now. I think they were doing 10-point must. I think 10-point must would work if you then have a minus point for passivity or for stalling.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, I know we just said it before, but that fight is just such a shame. On better fights, our boy, Ed.
Yeah. Potty Bear.
Man.
Mr. Potty Bear
He's
himself.
on a bit of a tear lately.
Yeah. I think he's had 19 straight heel hook victories.
19?
Yeah, in a row.
Are they all heel hooks? I think there might be a knee bar in there somewhere.
Maybe a knee bar or two. Well, all leg locks.
All leg locks.
Yeah. He had a few opportunities to submit Jamie with other things, and he just let him go so he could leg lock him.
Yeah. Well, he kind of just let him get side control.
He does that.
And Jamie Hughes got that Kimura.
Yeah. Look.
Why does
I don't know if I'm
that?
mugging Ed off here, but Ed said, I just knew he couldn't Kimura me.
Right, yeah. Well, he did have a weight advantage.
Yeah, he did.
So probably a strength advantage.
Yeah.
And a Kimura is a bit of a strongman move.
Yeah. Yeah, but Ed's susceptible to Kimuras.
Obviously, because he pulls bloody.
But
control.
Yeah. Well, so who's fighting next? Jackson Sousa.
Yes.
That's a big step up in competition.
What's he like weight-wise, Jackson Sousa?
He's probably about 90, 95 kilos.
And he's a beast.
But he's one of the best in the world. He's legit one of the best in the world.
So you can't pull side control?
Yeah. I advise Ed not to pull side control.
So that's the game plan.
So I imagine he's going to sit down and try and go for the leg locks. He's just very dangerous. Like, Ed is an underrated guy. I think he just stays a little bit too quiet, maybe. But I believe him to be one of the absolute best leg lockers in the country. I think he's up there with Ross Nichols as those two guys as the best leg lockers in the UK.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I imagine Polaris will have him back.
Yeah, they're talking about, look, who they match him with next on Polaris is going to, if he taps out Jackson Sousa, that's a game changer. That's a whole game changer. That's main card.
He's stepping onto the world scene.
That's main card now, you know? So you can't be putting him with anyone who is not international standard if he manages to tap out third place at ADCC Jackson Sousa.
What show is he fighting him on?
Battle Grapple.
The poster looks sick.
It's one of the sickest posters I've ever seen in my life. They smashed it. So apparently that picture of him, because they've got their pictures, they're staring at each other.
Yeah.
He took that on the toilet.
Did he really?
Yeah, he's just
Is that why he looks so serious?
Yeah, he's squeezing one out.
It's a serious time in anyone's life.
Yeah. So yeah, he did good. He did good. Who else was on the card?
Well, you had, just talking about the card, how stacked it was.
Yeah.
Polaris stepped their game up this time.
It was a stat card.
There's have a couple cards where I was like, oh,
yeah,
really?
Yeah.
I'm not feeling that one.
It can be so hard, man. There's so many pullouts in a lot of these tournaments, but it was a very good card.
Because, I got the honour of being in your corner, which I was very happy about.
That was your first time being in the corner?
Was my first time being in your corner, but for Polaris.
For Polaris. What have you been in my corner for?
Maybe sub 15.
Yeah. It was a long time ago. What was it like?
Mate, it was weird. I told Louis because it was you, Craig Jones, Nicky Ryan, and Benson Henderson were in the change room on the mat, warming up.
Yeah.
And I was like, right, Dan's gonna call me. I went to Louis, shouty Polaris guy. I went, I'm gonna go over and help Dan warm up. You better get a fucking video of me on the mat with these lot. And so Louis just there on the sly recording for me, and I'm just like,
good company.
Someone just walked past me, and you know me. I'm like, who the fuck's that mug?
Yeah.
But I was like, who's that?
Former UFC
lightweight champion.
Benson Henderson.
So I'm glad that my initial reaction wasn't what that example I just gave.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
yeah, you know
I
what?
Have been cornering you.
But yeah, the most that I've had that was the last quintet.
Josh Barnett, Gordon
Ryan, Nicky, Jones, Sakuraba, Yuki Nakai, Frank Mir.
Oh yeah,
It was fucking ridiculous, and everyone's in this one room. And Eddie Bravo and Boogeyman and Gio and all of these guys. It was insane.
It was a very cool experience. But talking about the other fights, I rewatched the Vagner Rocha Benson Henderson, which was always going to be a sick fight.
Yeah,
Vagner Rocha is serious.
He's a beast.
He is serious.
Yeah.
I watched the fight when I watched it on UFC TV. He looks so relaxed. He's like smiling. And Benson Henderson is a very fierce competitor.
Yeah.
And he just seemed like it was just chilled.
But Benson's kind of good. He's this interesting combination of fierce but totally chill as well.
When he looks at you, like it's kind of like shit.
Yeah.
Like he just has this very fierce, intense look.
But then you'll see him roll and like someone take his back and he'll be smiling, he'll be joking around, the toothpick will come out.
Well, I heard on the commentary they were saying that I'm pretty sure they were saying that Benson was saying to Vagner Rocha when he had his back that, you're not going to tap me.
Yeah, really.
But he ended up sort of half putting him to sleep, didn't he?
So,
yeah.
This is what I heard, was that Ollie Geddes kneels on one of the cameraman's foot.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay?
I saw that.
The cameraman screams. So both the fighters
he actually
stop.
did scream.
Both the fighters stop. Ollie tells him, I think they both stop, and then Vagner throws on a choke, and Benson taps. Now Ollie goes, nah, there's too much shit going on right now.
Yeah, we can't end that.
So he restarts him in the middle on the back, but Vagner gets a much better position on the back than he started with, and then taps him straight after.
Oh, really? Benson's a vet, though. He would sort that out if that was the case.
I don't know.
But he just seems so
Man,
relaxed
the
in whole
restart on the
fight.
back, like that's crazy, right? And actually, I get.
Sorry, a better position on the back. He had both hooks in on the edge of the
But
mat.
I just mean, like, you know, when you're attacking the back, there's tiny movements that are going to make tiny positions.
Yeah, but how much?
I don't know. It's just what I heard.
But are we splitting hairs here?
But like, you're going to start someone on the back position because they're off the mat, and you can restart them there. But when I've got a fucking guillotine on,
that I was surprised.
that pissed me off.
That was
man.
funny when you
That
said in the
pissed me off.
post-fight interview, at least trying to scream me.
I felt bad afterwards because Ollie's a good guy, but I'm just saying that because if he does that to me again, we're not friends anymore.
Ollie's a nice guy, but yeah, no, if he does it again, fuck
We're
you.
done. We're done. Polaris 9 is going to be me versus Geddes.
He did a smother thing again as well. Rocha.
He went for it. He didn't get it. Did he?
He did the like tutorial in the back.
Yeah, the
way he does it is like he kind of clamps down the nose.
He pushes the nose.
He has a reputation of being quite a nasty grappler.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty well-deserved reputation. He's pioneered a technique that involves you suffocating a man by crushing their nose with your palm.
Look, we're trying to turn each other's limbs the wrong way, and
But you know what? This whole smother technique is actually pretty interesting because he did it for the first time. IBJJF have rules against you touching the face. So
like eyes.
no, anywhere on the face, inside of the face. You can't put your hand over the mouth and nose.
Oh,
and stuff
really?
like that. No, that comes from MMA. You can do it in
Yeah.
MMA. You can't do it in IBJJF.
You see it a lot in MMA sometimes in half guard.
You can't do it in IBJJF. So like Wagner's kind of did it, and the sub only shows that are allowing all subs have just gone like, I guess it's okay then, and now everyone's doing it because someone asked at the Quintet 3 rules meeting if that was legal, and they were like, yeah, fuck it. And then Craig went for it a few times on
You jokingly did it.
Yeah. Someone shouted out, go for the smother. So I tried to put my hand on it. Literally didn't cover any of his face.
Yeah, no. You need a bigger hand for that face.
If he had done it to me, it would have been a bad time.
You would be fucked.
I would be fucked.
Man, he would like chimpanzee just rip your face off.
He'd just been like, his pinky would have been on my chin and the index finger would have been on my forehead. Just good night. Just a Thanos hand. Just cover it in my face.
His fight was good. Nicky Ryan showed true against
Savage,
Imanari.
Yeah, so Nicky's going to fight Ash next. So this is an interesting thing. So I imagine on the next Polaris, like, Ash has to fight Nicky. And I guess Ross will fight Manch. But you know who's really interesting for that welterweight title is Vagner.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
He got to the final of the EBI. I think he lost to Gary Tonnen.
Who, Vagner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
By a heel hook.
Do you know what? Like, Wagner's really interesting because he's not a young guy, but he seems to be coming into his prime at the moment.
Yeah.
He's 36 years old.
He doesn't fight MMA anymore, does he? Or
I don't think he does.
I haven't heard his name thrown around.
I don't think he does.
But yeah, no, I agree with what you're saying.
It's impressive.
He's just ferocious. I mean, he also said in the interview as well that he trains the way he fights. Like, he'll 100% and be nasty in training.
Really?
I mean...
Yeah. Look, if you got mates that don't mind you beating the shit out of them. Do you watch his training session with... he trains with Gilbert Burns.
Yeah.
That looks savage.
I mean, just like I said to you with the Benson Henderson fight, I mean, I don't want to be truly up Vagner Rocha's arse here, because I am sort of. Don't worry, Craig, I'm still up your ass.
Don't worry, Keenan, he's still your ass.
Yeah, don't worry, Keenan, I still love you. But even when Gilbert Burns was like blast double legging him, he's just like kind of laughing and just done a forward roll to like roll out a bit. I'm just like, Jesus, that's Gilbert Burns.
Yeah, no, he's good. He's good. Yeah, Vagner has to be in line for that. I guess it becomes interesting now with all the belts.
Yeah, well, Craig Jones is double champ now.
Yeah, 205 and 285. So they're using the UFC weights.
Okay.
So Manch is the 170 and Nicky is the 130. 45.
And he's 145.
Yeah. So I need a lightweight title and a heavyweight title.
When are they doing the next
Which,
one?
in hindsight, I should just fucking make my fight the heavyweight title.
That would probably have been more of a super heavyweight. I don't think he would have made the 265 limit, would he?
Yeah. He weighed in at 111, which is
111?
Yeah. It's like 235.
Yeah. No,
240?
he'd make
240?
it. He'd make it.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying, is it? Well, what other heavyweights have they had on? Dean Lister?
Very few.
Very
I've
few.
been the heaviest guy on most of the Polarises that I fought. I think maybe both the Polarises that I fought on, Polaris 2 and Polaris 5.
Josh Barnett hasn't done a Polaris, has he?
No. That's who they're calling for my next fight.
I thought you were bros.
We are bros. I don't know if I'd like to fight Josh. We're mates now, basically. Basically like best friends. But it's not a big deal, so just cool.
Just chill.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so Josh came over. I told you about this, right? Josh was over in the UK for like 4 days to fight in 2 catch wrestling tournaments.
Yes.
It's so strange.
Yeah.
Like,
you
came all the
were
way
in his
over.
corner for a catch
Yeah, I was in his
wrestling
corner for the catch wrestling title.
I was gutted because where was that again?
It's in Bolton.
Yeah, I was a bit busy that weekend.
Because you'd come up with me the weekend before.
The weekend before to
Yeah.
Leeds and Newcastle.
Yeah. But I'm going to try and bring him over for a seminar talk. Because he comes over every once in a while and he does like 2 seminars. There's like a seminar at Wigan Snake Pit and the seminar at Chris Foran's premiere, which is...
Oh, yeah, Chris Foran's, yeah.
Yeah, which is connected. I'm like, you're fucking Josh Barnett. You could get 20 seminars here if you wanted.
Yeah.
So he was like, okay.
It was strange that he didn't do that.
So I said, I'll sort it out. I think, like, to be fair, how do you do that? How do you get a seminar tour if you don't have someone doing it for you? Like, I can do it because I know everyone in the UK.
But can't you just go on the underground? Look.
Yeah, but he doesn't know about the UK BJJ underground.
Well, he
does
relies on his English friends like you to tell him.
But this is what I'm saying. I'm going to sort it out for him. So I'll put it out at the beginning of the year. I'll say, like, Josh, do you want to come over in June? So then beginning of the year, I go, is anyone interested in hosting a Josh Barnett seminar? Work out how many it is, and then you get them over.
Fair dues. Mate, sorry to be a buzzkill. I'm dying for a pee.
Yeah, you can go for it, man.
Cheers. We didn't stop, or?
Nah, we'll just be like, and you're back from the toilet. Yeah, what were we talking about? Yeah, I'm going to get Josh Barnett over for a seminar tour at some point. So people who are interested in that, it's probably coming for 2019. So yeah, I don't know what will be next for me. The next Polaris is going to be in March in London.
It better be on a Saturday.
It's on a Friday.
Better.
So this is what I was saying to them, which is I was talking to the Polaris guys and I said, Sunday really kills it. It's going to be fine for the locals, but nobody's going to travel in because the distance that you're going to have to travel, you have to stay overnight and people aren't going to want to miss work the next day.
Yeah.
So Sunday kills it. Friday, they were like, Friday might be worse. I was like, you know what? I think Friday's... Because Friday, if they start the undercard at, the dark match at 4 o'clock,
yeah,
that's too early. No one's going to be there. But if they're starting the main event at 7 or 8 o'clock, that'll probably be fine.
Yeah.
I reckon Friday night in London is going to do better than Sunday.
Was there a Polaris after party this time?
There was. Yeah, there was. There always is.
Yeah? Good?
Yeah, it was all right. It was all right.
Their after parties are usually decent.
It was all right, yeah. Yeah. But
you cracked me up some. Was it the best one? Was definitely in Bournemouth in Low Low Low. That was a good after party.
That was good, yeah.
It makes me laugh because like me and Modell were saying when we were getting photos of like other athletes, like with Torquinho and with sorry, can you not hear me? Yeah. When we're getting photos of like Torquinho and Tonnen and people like, and you're just looking over at us like we're cheating on you. Like, what the fuck? Where have you guys been? Why'd you smell of aftershave?
Well, you were getting photos with Jake because I think I asked for the Jake had fought AJ that night, and I went up to him and I said we should do it. And we ended up doing it, but it was crap.
Yeah, I did get like 10 photos with Jake that night. I think
you're big in the 209. In the 209
I am
crew.
big in the 209. Me and Jake are basically brothers. I did tell you when you signed that fight, I was like, look, mate, I'll be honest, I don't know.
No, you were right. Actually, you were pretty supportive because when I was talking about wanting to fight Jake, you were just like, if you do that, I can't be in your side. You were right in the end.
Nah, mate, I've got you back, really.
Yeah,
I really did have to kind of work out who my friends were.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Nick.
We do know each other.
we've spoken about this on the podcast.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, about when I
bumped into
and I made a bit of a mess of myself in front of my hero.
Speaking of messing about himself, Shouty Polaris guy truly redeemed himself this weekend.
He has. Shouty Polaris guy is a really nice guy.
He is.
He actually is just nice Polaris guy.
Yeah, I think I've printed another, because I printed the t-shirt that said Shouty Polaris guy. I've printed him another t-shirt that says Polite Polaris guy.
Did you?
Yeah, I think so.
He just had a bad night, you know. We all have him.
Yeah. Well, it was quite funny because I brought him along to be in my corner. He was with me the whole weekend at the weigh and stuff like that. He was going out of his way to be polite to people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think he actually went and gave Ishii a drink of water after our match.
He did, yeah, he did.
And then Ishii snatched it and stormed off. And
I said
screaming.
to him, like, nice touch. But as we're walking out, I was like, seriously, how have a pair of degenerates like me and you, how are we in this position? Like, it's just mental how the world works.
Yeah.
You have faith in... You have a lot of... I'm not going to say the C word. A lot of dicks as your mates, you know. And I'm proud of you for that. You know? You take anyone under your wing.
I will. I'm completely. You know, I just see a little bit of me and you. I feel like I can show you the light. I can reach these kids.
We're not there yet, but you know,
you'll get
it's
there.
a work in progress.
But yeah, it's funny because I always kind of have random guys in my corner. Just, you know, my opponent will have. You know, Roger Gracie, or we'll have John Danaher in their corner or something.
You told
like that.
me you wanted me in your corner for my wealth of jiu-jitsu knowledge and my competition record.
Yeah.
Okay, you're saying something different now.
You know what I'm saying though.
Okay.
Yeah, I just have anyone. Right.
And yeah, no, it's fine. I'll be in your corner next time as well. Fair enough. Who do you want for Polaris 9 then? Because I'm not feeling the Josh Barnett one, if I'm honest.
No, I don't know if
he's pretty much our friend now.
I don't know if I'll do Polaris 9.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You know what is? I don't want to do. I don't know. It's a weird one. I almost don't want to. I don't want to overdo it. I don't want to be on every single Polaris. I want to give, I never wanted to. It was just why I did 2, took a few off. I did 5, I took a few off. You know, if they give me a really interesting match for the next one, I'll do it. But they're looking to do 4 events next year. I don't know if there'll be 4 events next year, but they're looking, apparently they do 4 events next year. I don't want to be on 4 Polarises next year. You just get a little bit too much. You know, I don't want to be in people's faces all the time. I want to go in there and when it's almost not a novelty, but I want it to be a bit different when I'm competing. You know,
yeah.
I don't want people to get bored of me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, if they come and they say, look, we've got some awesome, really exciting fight for you on Polaris 9, then I'll agree to it. But I'm not massively fussed on being on that card. I'm going to go to it anyway, regardless. I'm going to go watch it, but I'm not massively fussed on being on it. But I'd want to be on the one after that, if that makes sense. So, yeah, I'm not like trying to get on every single one, as much as I love the card.
Are you? I saw in the prologue that you kind of were saying about how you wanted to. You're more after just fighting people who are interesting, like interesting matchups.
Yeah, I've always wanted to do that. I don't think there's any point me, you know, like my match with Mateus was. If I went to the Worlds and competed in my division, then I'd be up against potentially him there. You know, so it's when you do these super fights, you have what I see as an exceptional opportunity to step outside of the regular boundaries of jiu-jitsu competition. You get to fight people outside of your weight, maybe even outside of your sport. You know, this is when you have the UFC guys come in, or you have the pro MMA fighters come in, or you have a judo guy come in, or whatever. You're able to step out of the boundaries of pure Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I then see it almost a little bit of a waste not to take that opportunity.
Yeah,
you know. So yeah,
like maybe a Frank Mir.
Yeah,
be a good shout.
Do you know what?
If they can afford him.
If I've been offered the Frank Mir fight on Tanko, which only had one show unfortunately, and then closed down. I was offered the Frank Mir fight, and I said I'd take it. And then the show stopped. They only did the one, and they didn't do any afterwards.
Oh, what, they offered you that after your fight against
with Lucio? Yeah. They said that initially Frank asked for a load of money, and then he came and did some work, or they did some commentary, and then he said, "You know what, I'll fight for free." So like, yeah, I'll fight Frank Mir, and I stick by that. I'll fight Frank Mir. If they want to get Frank Mir, then I don't mind being a guy who fights the big guys.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that.
I always after the Polaris where Dillon Danis fought Gary Tonnen,
Yeah.
I would have wanted you to go against him, only because I thought you were antagonising him a bit of the way, and I could have seen it wrong.
Oh no, I was.
But like when he was getting Larry to Tonnen, and you were kind of like laughing really loudly,
Yeah.
like you were trying to wind him up,
Yeah, 100%.
and then shouty Polaris guy obviously wound him up a lot
There's a good narrative there, isn't there?
because there's a backstory.
Dylan is a hilarious character.
He's interesting. He's changed a lot, hasn't he, since the McGregor thing?
Well, people don't. Yeah. Do you know what I said? This kid, one of the kids in my classes, he appeals to a. I believe that he appeals to a demographic which actually like we are not a part of, and most jiu-jitsu guys are not a part of. He appeals to a younger, hip sort of the mumble rapper demographic.
I do look. He does
his jiu-jitsu's
the
good.
character that he's trying to be.
That's
right?
not. I don't think that's him.
But if he was that, so like Conor McGregor, I actually genuinely believe is that he's putting it on a little bit, like he's exaggerating it. But I feel like when he says something cringe on Instagram, I would believe like he is a bit of he's a bit gangster, like he is. Yeah. He's legit. Whereas Dylan, if you read some of his earlier posts, his
Instagram.
And then you read his posts.
Get him up.
If you read his earlier posts and then you read his
current post.
Right, get up his current post.
Okay.
And I'll get up his old post.
Okay.
And watch the contrast of how he's changed.
Okay.
From when he was with innocent Marcelo.
Oh, listen, was that the turning point? When he left Marcelo's and suddenly...
When he left Marcelo and started hanging around with McGregor. Right here. Here's one of them, yeah?
Okay.
So this is actually his first post.
Now he's got 705,000 followers now. That's a lot. Jesus Christ.
Right. I got the best mum in the world is his first post. Right. Let me read the next one. World Pro Champion. It feels amazing to accomplish another one of my dreams. Thanks to Marcelo and Tati, my teammates and sponsors.
So should we compare that to his more... Okay.
Now give me one of his recent ones.
Okay,
it's fucking amazing.
Okay, this is him. What's the picture of for that?
What? As in a good gangster when he's trying to be a gangster?
No. What's the picture of that?
It's him with a gold medal and a bit of money.
Okay. So this one is him standing in front of a yacht and a Bentley.
I'm just trying to find another one while you read this one out.
And it says, "I'd hate me too." Okay. Go on.
My go?
Your turn, yeah.
One of the best moments in my life. Had 4 subs and became the 2014 IBJJF World Champion. I closed in the finals with my brother Marcus Silva for the absolute. Thanks to my family, teammates and sponsors.
What a humble guy. What a humble guy.
Stuff. I mean,
a few years later, my math teacher failed me, but I bet he still takes the bus. A picture of him standing outside of a private jet.
Which McGregor definitely bought. Wait, let me find one more.
Okay, this is a good one. This doesn't even make sense.
All right, let's look at the Joe Lozon one. So, it's officially out. I will be fighting Joe Lozon at Metamora 6. Will be an honour for me to compete against such a warrior that I have such respect for.
Okay,
Top guy.
Humble. What a humble character.
Such a decent guy.
Years later. Who wants smoke? Because I want smoke. I had a wet dream about beef. And it's a picture of him with 2 middle fingers up to the camera.
Of course.
I don't even understand what that.
See, why aren't you graphing him, man?
Yeah, I think it's more pull up and wreck.
That was it.
Pull up and wreck. That's it. That's the whole comment.
Pull up and wreck.
Yeah.
This one I've got some of his DVDs here.
Okay.
Just a little of my collection of fights. All I did was study growing up, and I continue to do so. A big contribution to my diverse submission game. # Jiu-Jitsu never stops.
Man, what a role model to the young.
Such a lovely young man
to the young jiu-jitsu community. This one just says sicko mode.
See that. So that's what I mean by
Yeah.
by how.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster. That's a Goodfellas quote, I think.
That is a good.
I think there's a lot of. This one just says "blessed cunt on weight."
Blessed cunt on weight.
Yeah, I assume he's referring to himself. He's made weight. And then this says biggest debut in MMA history.
See, I think that's relative.
Yeah, I think he might have lost his humble roots, maybe. But
is he still banned from Marcelo's gym?
I imagine so.
Is that guy that fought on? Is it Munch on Polaris?
Yeah.
Is he's from Marcelo's?
He got kicked out when Dillon did.
Oh, really?
Yes.
See, I thought Dillon's reason was because of the whole McGregor thing and how
it was beforehand. I don't know exactly why. I think it was because I think it was to do with, or it started at least with the Marcelo boys beefing with the Danaher boys.
Yeah, but that was the whole cool thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I think it was getting out of hand. They had a fight at the ADCC, didn't they? They had like a tussle.
Well, Dillon tried to approach Gordon Ryan, didn't he?
Yeah.
It's just like, come on, man, this is grappling.
So I guess whatever it was, it wasn't in line with. Look, when you look at the two people that they're representing, you got Renzo Gracie and Marcelo Garcia. Now they're both the two of the most respected men in BJJ history, but at the same time, Marcelo is an absolute humble, gentle guy. From what I know,
yeah, he is.
Renzo, despite being a very cool cat, is a fucking lunatic, right? You know, like young Renzo was a crazy. The whole family, they're crazy. You know, he was a badass.
Yeah,
he's a very different and he still is. He's a very different person to Marcelo Garcia. So I can see Renzo kind of going, they're just kids being kids, and Marcelo being, look, I really don't want my brand being represented by people who go around trying to start fights with.
But I think, I don't know the full story.
I don't know the full story.
If that's the case, then I'm sort of inclined to disagree with Marcelo. I don't think you should teach a man how to live his life. I don't think they're being that bad.
Look, I understand what you're saying. As a degenerate yourself, I understand you sticking up for the idea. You would be kicked out of the gym. I think it becomes different when you are such a figurehead in a community and these people are representing you directly.
But what has he done so bad?
I don't think that he got kicked out because of that. I think he got kicked out, like there always is. There's stuff going on behind the scenes you don't know about. I imagine that Marcelo just had... he didn't like Dillon's attitude, and that's the reason he kicked him out.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Which probably couldn't stand his latest Instagram quotes.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe just thought that he was too much in sicko mode to train at Marcelo Garcia's academy. But yeah, it's interesting there because you've got Unity in New York, which is acting as like a magnet to the outcasts.
Unity,
yeah.
Who runs that?
Marcelo Santana, I believe his name is. Yeah, Marcelo Santana.
Or is it Murillo Santana?
Murillo Santana, yes, absolutely. Yeah, I knew it wasn't right. Murillo Santana, who's very, very good himself, and from what I've heard, like a super cool dude. But yeah, they've got a lot of guys there now that have kind of been the misfits from New York. So you had the Miao brothers train there.
Oh, okay.
Dillon and Mance train there.
What, the Miao brothers only train there because they've left Brazil?
I don't know why they're training there, but that's where they train. And then you had Eddie's moved there, Cummins.
Okay, yeah. Why did he leave Renzo's?
I don't know exactly.
Okay.
I don't know. I assume it's because I think he was never like properly part of that little clique, I don't know exactly why. But I guess he just had disagreements with Danaher, and Gordon put out a post saying that he was just, he's a fucking prick, and that he just injured people and fucked people up, and he was just a nasty,
something like that.
he was just a nasty bastard. I haven't rolled with him, so I can't really comment. But I think Eddie, I believe maybe that Eddie thought that he pioneered a lot of the leg lock system that's used there, and that he wasn't getting the credit that he deserved for doing that. I don't know. I think maybe he dropped a DVD, or he's going to drop a DVD, which is why Danaher got his DVD out so quickly, because he rushed that first DVD.
Oh, okay.
It was all fucked, wasn't it? The audio was fucked. It was just very badly produced. Which, when you have something of that high quality, it should have the most impeccable production of anything that you're going to find.
I watched his recently. I watched his breakdown of Gordon Ryan's leg lock on
Rogan.
Yeah. I mean, it was intense the way he was talking about it, and in a way, pretty cool. But I don't know. I found it so condescending, and
yeah,
I don't think I'd want to be stuck in a lift with him. Put it that way.
Yeah, I like personally. I think that I believe that Danaher plays up to that role a little bit
of being like a Yoda.
Yeah,
because the way he was talking was like almost like he visioned it before it even happened, and
Yeah, well, condescending would definitely be the right word to describe his interview with Rogan.
Yeah.
That was savage.
That's the first time I've seen Rogan just kind of, tail go between his legs and just fucking...
He just went,
savage.
He said, fuck, what was it?
He
was like, what are the components?
So
like, he was asking him...
So what's he doing here then?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. He was asking what the 4 components of grappling were, and when you ask that, you're not talking about what the first 5 letters of the alphabet. It's not something that everyone has equal understanding of in that way. You can have a full understanding of the rules of jiu-jitsu that aren't going to be exactly the same as someone else's. These are concepts that are abstract, and each person has them individually. So he's asking Joe Rogan to tell him his own interpretation of jiu-jitsu. Of course, he hasn't told Joe Rogan, so Joe Rogan doesn't have a clue, So he's going, what's the first thing you want to do? And Joe's like, I don't fucking know what you're trying to get me to say.
He probably knows, so. He just doesn't, you just don't want to say the wrong answer.
Yeah, exactly. And then at one point, he goes, go for a leg lock, and he goes, I guess you must be a 10th planet black belt then. He says, like, go for a submission or something like that, and he just goes, you must be a 10th planet black belt.
When he's going through the technique, he was like, one of my concepts is you must get both feet in the middle.
Yeah.
You must have the middle control.
Yeah.
If you want to leg lock. And I'll repeat that because it's so important. You must gain middle control. It's like, fucking give it a rest.
I know, it's the gravitas that you bring to it. It's do you know what? It's like do you listen to Elon Musk on Rogan?
No, I didn't.
Oh, bro. It's Elon Musk.
I know, but...
It's the long pauses. They were savage.
They were savage. Yeah, to be fair, I heard him on another podcast.
They were so good. They were so good. The long pauses, he'd just be, he'd ask him a question, he'd go, you know what? I think you might be right. It grabs you.
How was your day?
It was
okay. But yeah, like just silly stuff like when he had the middle control and he was kind of trying to get the saddle position, but he was halfway into doing it and he goes, pause it. It's here where he knows he's won. It's like, well, no, he's not, because he's fighting Cyborg.
It's like
he did get the finish, but he did not know he'd won at that point.
Maybe your understanding of jiu-jitsu is just not on. Neither of our understanding of jiu-jitsu is on the level of the great.
Maybe I'm just a Mill Hill guy.
You're just a brown belt.
Nice pause.
Yeah. How did we get onto that?
I can't remember.
That was a long journey. We were talking about Dillon leaving. Yeah.
Anyways, December, mate, your birthday. Yeah. And really, we had, because Buddy Polaris did it on a Sunday, we didn't get to properly celebrate your victory.
Yeah. Turned 28.
28. Join the 28 club, mate.
Hell.
You're getting fucking old.
I know, man. People say that as an old, but I've been training jiu-jitsu for coming up to 14 years now.
Yeah.
Very soon, I will have been training jiu-jitsu longer than half of my life.
We, to celebrate your birthday, though, we probably won't be going to church. Are we allowed to talk about our church?
Yeah, I guess so. This is kind of off topic, but we can talk about it. Yeah, the party church.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, so the first time we went, we had the incident with Modell, didn't we?
What did Modell do?
Did Modell going for a wee outside right in front of the club. And then that massive bouncer started
so
on him.
for those who are unaware what church is the party church is
we might go to an actual church.
Yeah, is a day rave that happens during the normal hours of a church, which would be, Sunday morning, afternoon time. So it's midday to 4 o'clock is the party church. It's day rave. I think they're only doing very few of them now.
Yeah, not doing as much anymore.
But we went 2 consecutive years for my birthday, I believe. But yeah, the first time we went as...
First time as the Avengers.
The Avengers.
I was Iron Man.
Kind of before it was cool. Or it just got cool.
It just got big.
Yeah.
You were 4?
No, I was Black Widow.
You were Black Widow, yes. Yeah. You had the...
I truly understood the plight of females as I was casually molested by men the entire day.
Yeah, not quite like you were when you was the Ultimate Warrior, but we'll get to that one anyways.
Yeah, the Ultimate Warrior. Is this podcast supposed to regaling people with drunken stories?
Well, it's your birthday, so
okay.
I feel like we should talk about it.
Okay.
So on this time, Modell was just like, he wasn't really there. I mean, he was there in body, not in spirit. He drank so much. Gone. He drank so much.
He was Thor.
And the weird thing is, this is like 4 o'clock, so it's still like...
Yeah, so that's the weird thing. It's the middle of the day in December.
And he's going for a pee right outside the club. So the bouncer comes over and like a bunch of them came over and started bullying him essentially. Well, rightfully so. He's peeing right outside their club.
Yeah.
And I remember like we were all running over and then I was like to one bouncer, like he kept pushing Modell. He was like,
you were Iron Man.
I was Iron Man and I still had my the lights were on in my eyes. And I was like, come on man, leave him alone. And the guy starts pushing me. I go, don't push me. No, I wish I would. So I said, so he goes, what? He pushed me again. I was like, don't push me. And he's like, fucking, he's the size, he makes Ishii look small.
Yeah.
The size of this guy.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, what are you going to do? And I just looked down in my Iron Man mask and just was like, bad things are going to happen. But I fucking wish I would have just gone hand up and just gone... Who knows? It may have worked. He might have just done one. Second time we went.
Yeah, when it's the Ultimate Warrior.
Was more of... you kind of took over that one.
Oh, mate. That was...
So you were the Ultimate Warrior. I was Taker. It's on your Instagram, isn't it?
It's on my Instagram. Modell was Roddy Piper, yeah.
And wasn't Hearn...
Chris Hearn was CM Punk.
CM Punk.
Pre-UFC CM Punk.
Yes, it was pre-UFC. So it's still sort of cool.
I got into... Like, I spent days studying The Ultimate Warrior. I truly... Because he had just died that year.
Yeah.
So, like, I really felt that if anything, his spirit was in limbo and that it had to run one more time through me before it could be freed
It reminded me very much of the documentary Andy and I about Jim Carrey when he became Andy Kaufman.
Yeah, it's a good documentary.
It was very close. Like, you really did become the Ultimate
Warrior.
I really
did become the Ultimate Warrior, yeah.
So we were kind of doing a fake wrestling match on the stage floor, and you military pressed me in the air.
Yeah, I don't remember this until you reminded me. I gorilla pressed you.
Yeah, but then I thought, I'm up in the air. Oh, this looks cool. But that's going to let me down.
That's what Daniel would have done.
You're going to
not what the Warrior would have done.
Down.
Yeah, so I just let go and walked in front,
and I fucking face planted the floor, which was covered in piss and beer, which I really appreciate.
Bro, those bouncers, because at church you have to buy bags.
You have to buy bags of
beer, bags of drink.
Cans.
So I was getting 3 cans at a time, yeah. 3 cans at a time. The first one I would just like shake up and crack like a Stone Cold style and drink from above their head, chuck that into the crowd, and then I'd have 2 more drinks that I could drink kind of at my own pace. And the bouncers started to get really upset that I was doing this.
It was more the rails.
Oh yeah, I was grabbing the rails and shaking the rails.
What is it kind of like?
He does that, yeah, he goes onto the top rope. I kept doing it. But they took me out and gave me a timeout, which I have never, like, all respect to the bouncers, because I've never been given a timeout in a club before. Yeah, usually if you're being a little bit out of control, they'll just kick you out.
You seem like quite a spoiled child. Maybe never a timeout ever. Maybe your first timeout ever.
I had plenty of timeouts, so it's fine. But yeah, I was given a timeout, and they literally said, just sit down and shut up for 5 minutes and we'll let you back in. Of course, I couldn't shut up.
But you weren't saying anything, though. You would just seem to be grabbing rails.
Yeah, no, but when they pulled me out, I was just being, trying to be funny. Being classic Strauss. Yeah. I think in the end, like, one of the guys just came out, like, can we take him back in now? I'm like, yeah, just fucking get rid of him. He won't shut up. We went back into the club. And then by the time we wanted to leave, I was like, oh, guys, this is the end of the night now. So, end of the night, it was 3 p.m. We should probably get out of here. I was like, yeah, we should get out of here. Okay, well, there's no point us walking out. We might as well get kicked out.
Yeah, this was all your idea.
This is all
and I
my
don't even
idea.
think we agreed to it before you ran off.
No, I said we're going to get kicked out. We're not going to walk out of here. You know, what better way to leave a club than to be escorted out of there? So I went up to the rails again and just grabbed the rails and shook them, and they were on me like that. I think they must have seen me walking towards the rails. They must have seen
it
the
was
fire.
hard not to miss you.
They must have seen the fire in my eyes as I approached those rails. They knew that I was going to grab and shake those rails.
But you did run back out into the club dance floor, very, WrestleMania-esque.
Yeah, no, I was running warrior
Sprinting.
style, arms up in the air, high knees. Yeah, and I was wearing nothing but laces and the green. It was the same thing that I wore for Cleos. The Los Cleos.
Yes, I didn't come to that one, did I?
Oh yeah,
So
no, I
glad
went in the
missed
warrior gear, but without the t-shirt on, obviously, just bare chested.
So you decided to grab a rail.
Grab the rail,
and then
started shaking the
you
rail.
wouldn't let go of it.
Oh, and then they grabbed me and started to drag me out. But every rail from the dance floor to the exit, I grabbed and shook, and they were like punching my arms, trying. But I had full drunk retard strength at this point.
Yeah.
Coupled with my already.
But you were like,
excellent grip
they were
strength.
trying to all grab you, and then you were like pushing them off. And then, at that point, you think someone's just gonna, maybe you're drunk, you're gonna fight them because
Yeah.
it's a bouncer.
Yeah.
But instead, you push them off and you just go, rail.
I remember they dragged me to the outside of the club, and they were like, "Just don't," because there was a rail outside. Just don't grab the rail. Don't grab the rail. Don't grab the. Listen, look, fun's over now. I'm not going to grab the rail. So they let go of me. I fucking grabbed that rail and shook it so hard.
When we got to the outside bit, you kept grabbing the rail, and like at this point, some of the bouncers are like even laughing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh yeah, everyone's joking around. So one of the bouncers that grabs you, I'm obviously dressed as the Undertaker. So I go up to one of the bouncers and I just slap on a choke slam. I'm ready to send him for a ride. And he didn't find that funny. He did not find that funny. He grabbed me by my, I think I was wearing one of your wrestling.
Yeah, you were wearing my black singlet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He grabbed me like round one of it and he started like punching me in the face. I was like, oh, come on, I thought we're all like joking.
Excellent advice is like, do not ever try to choke slam a bouncer.
Nah, I can't see how that didn't work.
I can't believe how you could have possibly thought that grabbing a bouncer by the neck would have been a smart train of thought.
He can clearly see the joke in it, I don't understand how that's difficult. It's clearly banter. One-sided, maybe.
But yeah, so yeah, I think a quieter one this year. We're older and more mature now.
Yeah, no, we won't do that again.
But yeah, and then yeah, that's it.
So next year, when are you? When is? I know you remember last time we talked on the podcast. You were going to do, or considering doing the next ADCC qualifiers.
Yeah, I
is
think
that
it's
still
in
on the
April.
cards?
Yeah, 100%. That's the main goal.
And that's the last qualifiers.
That'll be the last European qualifiers. Yeah, the second European qualifiers. I don't know whether I'll do it at 88 or 99 yet.
At 88 or 99?
Yeah.
88, I think, should be. I know.
We'll see.
Yeah, I know. We always argue about this.
You know what I'm more likely to be doing.
You're very much like my missus. Bigger is better. I always try and say, smaller is better, but just like that, we always come to a disagreement about it.
Yeah. But, she's stuck with you anyway. Yeah, I'll probably do 99. Yeah. Especially if I want to keep on competing on Polaris in the heavyweight division. Because here's the thing, so I've been offered some matches, some super fights. Got offered Craig Jones on Grapple Fest again.
Again, though, Craig Jones is our boy.
Yeah.
We're pretty much best mates with him.
Yeah, so Tomo knew this. He said he still thinks it'll be a good match. I'm very unlikely to take it. But he's a little bit of a rat, that Craig Jones. He's a nice guy on the outside, but when you get to know him, he keeps training with our opponents. He was training with Gordon Ryan and rolling with Uriah Faber, who were our opposition at Quintet, the day before we were fighting them.
But that's how some of these like jiu-jitsu guys do.
Yeah,
like.
that's how he does. Bro, he posted a picture to his story after the weigh-ins with Ishii saying, "My hero."
Did that cut deep?
I messaged it. I was like, bro, what the fuck? What the fuck? Come on, just save it for the day after at least. Jesus Christ, mate. You meant to have my back. So you know what? Maybe we will. Maybe we will.
Really?
I don't know. It doesn't really interest me though.
Is he going to go down? Can you explain to me why you've signed a contract to fight me and then you're just going to send him that picture and explain this?
Yeah. But, so yeah, I got offered that. I don't know who'll be next. I don't know. I don't know whether they're going to start, because it was only, I think it was this Polaris that they started referring to all of the, because they used to do, like, it was a 90 kilo match, it was an 85 kilo match, it was a 60 kilo match, but now they're referring to all matches that aren't in the weight division as a catchweight match. So obviously they're trying to build up the, and they gave out 3 belts on Sunday. You know, they only had 1 belt before. So they're giving out 3 belts in one event. So they're quite obviously look to build like sort of a ranking system where people are, you know, they're trying to make it like the UFC, I guess, where you have contenders and champions and you can start to build a narrative that way. So then I got to start thinking about what division do I want to compete in. Do I want to keep competing in the heavyweights or?
What about Quintet? When's their next?
I don't know.
I imagine you'll want to get back on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That Japan one's going to be hard to top though.
Yeah. It will be. I don't know where the next one will be. I don't know whether it will be back in Vegas or whether it will be in...
Did you not say something about they were thinking of London or...
Polaris on Sunday was meant to be Quintet fight night.
Oh, okay.
It was meant to be...
so what, UK teams?
Yeah, it was going to be a Checkmat team, a Welsh team, Brad Pickett team, and then another team. Was meant to be instead of the prelims. No prelims, just a 4-team localish quintet followed by
some main events.
The main card. I think it would have been good.
That would have been a good shout.
Yeah. I think they should consider doing it for the next one for sure. I think it's just a lot of work.
Yeah.
So it's like running 2 events.
Yeah.
Because like running quintet, you literally just have to deal with 14. So this would be 4 teams plus all the others. You know, they're actually the main card. So we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. Yeah. Shall we wrap it?
Yeah, mate.
Cool. Yeah, for people listening, I haven't put a podcast out for probably about 4 or 5 weeks now. Really long time. The last one I did was that was the Ant Lambert one. Did you listen to that?
No.
That was cool, man. The Crazy Explorer.
No, I have heard a lot of good things though from the boys at training.
Yeah, people were saying that like it was one of the.
He's one who's trekked. He's trekked like
4 massive islands.
Yeah,
just like got attacked by fucking tribesmen and almost died. And
yeah, no, I will give that a listen to eventually.
It's good actually, but a lot of people said it's their favourite episode, which I kind of feel almost insulted by because it's the only one that isn't. Well, one of the ones where it's absolutely zero jiu-jitsu involved whatsoever.
Don't their even favourite episode.
Yeah, literally their absolute favourite episode.
What, better than my previous 2?
Well, they obviously hadn't listened to your previous 2.
Obviously.
But yeah. So, however, more episodes are coming out soon. I'm recording with Bob Breen tomorrow. So that will be the next episode. That'll be a good episode. And then I've been talking to a lot of people. I didn't get to manage to record anyone in Polaris because they were all just leaving the day after.
Because it's a bloody Sunday.
Yeah. I think I said to Nicky, I was like, "You're sticking around?" He's like, "I just want to get the fuck out of here."
That was a good impression.
Thank you. But yeah, so I didn't manage to get into a Polaris, but I'm hoping to get those guys soon at some point. But yeah, more episodes will be coming 2019. I'm going to get on it and get some good episodes out. But yeah, that'll be it. Luke, thank you very much.
Dan, thanks for having me on again, mate. Been a pleasure.
Mate. I'll catch you guys soon. That is it, guys. As always, if you want to follow me on Instagram or Twitter, it's at raspberry_ape. You can follow Luke on Instagram at pigeonpecker MMA. If you want to contact the podcast, then you can send me an email at podcast@raspberryape.com. Check out my website, which is raspberryape.com, you can buy stuff like t-shirts and singlets and rash guards and patches. Also, you can check out the YouTube channel, which should have this and many other episodes videoed and on there, which is youtube.com/raspberryape. Thank you very much for listening, guys, and I will catch you next time.